Fani Willis obviously and directly and implicitly hates Ashleigh Merchant, as is manifest in her director of operations guy, who clearly has said on the record what he feels and thinks of Ashleigh Merchant. Live breaking news, Nez Nation. We have day 2 of the open records hearing. Presiding over the hearing is Judge Rachel Krause. This was a 2.5-hour hearing on Friday, September 20th. I just watched the entire thing and I've analyzed it. I'm going to share a couple of clips. This clip right here is so damning and to me is demonstrative of, again, how Cash Money Fani Willis runs her entire office. It's a complete hot mess. Remember, we had the whistleblower, Amanda Timpson, on our show. If you missed that interview, it was phenomenal. How she talked about how toxic, how unbelievably suffocating that office was, and that if anybody even came near defying Fani Willis, they got the iron hammer. Listen to this clip, and then I've got more to tell you of the director of operation, Dexter Bond, spitting venom at Ashleigh Merchant.
Rule number 1 is pick up the phone. Let's communicate. What I've learned, if there's bumps and bruises, you need to communicate because that heals bumps and bruises. Because if you don't communicate, you end up in a courthouse.
You didn't do that with my request, though, correct?
I testified yesterday that I will not talk to you personally. I testified to you that I won't talk to you. I emailed you and let you know, do not talk to me. I told you on the record, and I'm going to tell you again, that I find you disingenuous. I find you very misleading, and I do not trust the way that you practice law. You do so in a way that's not filled with integrity. The Open Records Act.
Mr. Bond, I understand that you have strong feelings about Ms. Merchant.
Thank you. Sorry.
You've communicated them clearly.
Sorry.
But I need you to actually just answer her question, which is, did you communicate with her about, I think your question was, did you, Mr. Bond, communicate with Ashleigh Merchant about the nature or scope of her requests?
On January 26th, I wrote you a letter.
And my question was just based on your number 1 rule, pick up the phone, if you did that with me. That's all I asked. Did you do that with me?
No.
Thank you.
The level of unprofessionalism, the level of prosecutorial misconduct, the level of immature, amateur hour by Fulton County's DA office, headed by the Queen Bee, Fani Willis. You know, people always say, Nez, why do you call her Fani Cash Money G. Willis? Well, first of all, because she herself says she only deals in cash, and if anybody wants a G, she'll give it to her. Well, no, her name's Fani. F that. I don't respect anybody who's a liar, a cheat, who frauds out taxpayers, who does everything deceitfully, dishonestly, and then actually has the gall and balls to go out on live speeches and live programs like Rachel Maddow and say she's the victim because she's black. I have zero respect for this creature. It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with gender. It's just her black, decrepit soul. And I'm sick and tired of people saying, hey, you need to respect her. You need to respect Camilla. Why would I respect somebody who's trying to destroy my country, who's trying to destroy the veneer of the criminal justice system, the integrity of the entire criminal justice system, which, by the way, is on the line. So on day 2 of this open records lawsuit, you know, we're back with this Dexter Bond guy who is once again unable to answer just basic questions or understand basic words. This is such an egregious waste of taxpayer dollars. So Fulton County, you know, the question begs for Fulton County, why do you people have an open records portal and the idiot who is running it if you refuse to produce documents? Why is Dexter Bond, your chief operations officer, lying on the stand and avoiding answering very simple questions? You know, he keeps filling his answers with these nonsensical, let me be clear. Dexter Bond violated the Open Records Act daily by refusing to produce documents that citizens paid for. The public is allowed to view every single document in the DA's office that is not involved in an investigation. Dexter absolutely spits venom at Ashleigh Merchant because she is forcing them to hand over documents, and she is exposing the entire sham That is Dexter Bond and the entire DA's office headed by the Queen Bee, Fani Willis. I want you to listen to this. This is Ashleigh Merchant's husband, John Merchant, who this was the hearing that happened a couple of months ago, where he talks about how we've been asking for these documents, which again, these are documents they are required and obligated to disclose. They are public record. Taxpayers paid for them. And listen to what he says has been happening and going on in the stonewalling by Fannie Cash Money G and Company.
The evidence that you're going to hear from these witnesses is one that they still have not given us documents after 9 months, despite repeated requests to do so. That they have intentionally stonewalled Ms. Merchant by not providing adequate electronic links for the documents and by not doing the appropriate searches for the documents, which is an issue we raised with the court last week. They're all over the place, Your Honor.
9 months, Nez Nation, my fellow Americans. 9 months. And now you're forcing taxpayers to pay for this sham hearing to get, I mean, listen to how absurd and insane this is. You are forcing the taxpayers. This is how corrupt Cash Money G Willis is. You're forcing the taxpayers to pay exorbitant, God knows how much money is being expended here for a simple request that could literally be handled over the phone or through an email. You're literally forcing taxpayers to pay for a hearing. Ashleigh Merchant, who is doing the best that she can, and she has integrity, she has legal acumen, she does a phenomenal job of not letting this catastrophe Dexter Bond get to her as he attacks her time and time again. I mean, she must be used to it by now, and we had her on our show. I think she's phenomenal. I think her and Steve Sadow are amazing attorneys. I think her entire law firm conducts themselves with absolute professionalism and decorum and civility. I'm just shocked that the judge hasn't stepped in. By the way, when you heard the judge step in earlier, that's the first time she stepped in literally months. Forcing this attorney who's trying to do right by her client to subpoena you, to force you to go to a hearing, to literally disclose and give something that is a natural right to not only the attorneys, but to every taxpaying citizen of Fulton County. This is beyond absurd. Here was the very beginning of day 2, another example of the unprofessionalism, the amateur hour of Fani Willis and the toxicity, negativity, the hate, the vitriol that is obtained within that entire office. The very first question, which she didn't even get her question out, he loses his mind. Listen to this.
In regards to this lawsuit.
You know what I think about this lawsuit, so you're going to have to be specific. Hold on, I'm sorry.
All I said in regards to this lawsuit, I hadn't even asked a question yet. I just asked, I mean.
That was the very beginning. He jumps on her like a wild coyote on amphetamine. I don't care about your lawsuit. What are you talking about? No. It's unbelievable. But then at the same time, I say it's unbelievable. It's not unbelievable. Why? This is Fani Willis's office. Even you can see the faces of the attorneys, which is right above the video window on Zoom. This is a Zoom of the entire court hearing yesterday that was posted on Judge Rachel Krause's YouTube page. So if you want to watch the entire thing, you can go there, but it's 3 hours long. It's just the same crap over and over again. But above Ashleigh Merchant's window is the representatives of Fani Willis in the DA's office. You can see the guy in the middle, the white dude, his head is down in shame. You can see the other attorneys kind of looking away in disgrace because this guy's an absolute petulant child. There's another clip, and I just don't understand why the judge gives him so much latitude to act like this. I mean, the first day was even worse than day 2. He was extremely hostile. He was extremely combative, and she's asking very, very simple questions. I guarantee you, if you're an attorney, please comment or share this with an attorney. If there was any other attorney, I don't care if they've been practicing law for 30 years, 30 months, 2 days, 200 years, doesn't matter. I guarantee you any other attorney would have not have carried themselves the way Ashleigh Merchant did, which Ashleigh Merchant did not let this guy ruffle her feathers one bit. I give her 100% kudos. Any other attorney would have returned a little bit of that vitriol. Because, I mean, if it was me, holy macadamia, and I'm not an attorney, but if it was me, I would have been like, dude, you need to check yourself, bro. I'm asking you very simple questions. At the very least, I would have raised my voice. Ashleigh Merchant, calm, stoic, cool as a cucumber, professional as always. My major, major kudos to her. Listen to this.
Question was, you answered that you either did not, you said first that you didn't do any searches, and then you said you don't remember. So my question again for the third time is, did you not do any searches, or is it that you don't remember?
So I'm going to answer this question again. You gave me a lawsuit, which I thought was frivolous. I'm telling you, I did not read the lawsuit. So if you're asking me a specific search for your lawsuit, I didn't
What's that word? Asking? I thought it was asking.
care about your lawsuit. I sent it over to the county for representation because we knew that this was going to be, one, in my opinion, frivolous, and two, that you wanted an evidentiary hearing. And I knew that whatever was coming through the evidentiary hearing that I can address in court. So that's the answer to your question. If you're asked,
So let me jump in here for a minute. Because I absolutely agree that you're entitled to answer the question in any way you want. But now I think Ms. Merchant is right that you're not actually, her question is, did you conduct any searches after the lawsuit? Now I think I understand your answer to be, you didn't think the lawsuit merited action or attention by you, and that's fair. But her question is, did you conduct any searches after the lawsuit? And that's a yes or no question. Then you can explain if you did or didn't, or why not.
the answer is yes, because the subpoena was a part of the lawsuit. And when the subpoena, a part of the lawsuit, was received by me, a search was conducted.
Again, this kept happening back and forth over a very, very, I mean, extremely banal, benevolent, easy, adolescent. I mean, my junior high, my kids could answer these questions. It's so preposterous. But this is the environment. This is the culture that Fani Willis has cultivated. Listen to this.
Your Honor, she said, did I do any searches? I do not understand the question.
You can ask her to
You don't understand searches?
Did you do any searches in regards to the issues in this lawsuit?
I cannot answer that question. Why? Because I thought your lawsuit was frivolous. And I'm using your terms, Your Honor, so forgive me. It did not merit any work for me because of who you are and what you alleged. So I sent it over to the Fulton County for representation.
There is a small chance that Fani Willis will be forced to testify. I don't think forced to testify or subpoenaed, but there are talks and rumors that she may be a part of this hearing because, you know, whenever it has to do with a direct attack on her, she wants to come defend her. Remember how she stormed in when Ashleigh Merchant was talking about her and questioning her in the disqualification hearing with Judge Pussycat McAfee. But I find it highly, highly unlikely. She doesn't seem to do any work at all other than avoid. I mean, it seems like she goes out of her way to avoid doing her job, as this open records request reflects 100% perfectly to that point. Not one appearance in the longest trial in the history of Fulton County, the YSL RICO trial against Young Thug and others. I thought she was all about high-profile cases. I thought she was all about I thought this was her whole point, was to get notoriety. She hasn't once made an appearance in any of these other kind of ancillary preliminary hearings, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know what she does. I literally, if somebody can tell me, every time I see her make any appearance, it's to give a speech, to an accept award, speak at church, cocktails and conversations. What do you do? Fani, if you're watching this, my girl, tell me what you do. What is your job title? What is your job description? Besides F up and steal taxpayer money and have adulterous affairs with married men and go to Aruba, Jamaica, Bahamas, and what have you. What is your job title? I don't understand. So day 2 ended pretty abruptly as Judge Krause said that they were going to adjourn after 2.5 hours of testimony. Again, if you want to go see the entire hearing, you can go do that. But essentially what I showed you is emblematic of what the entire hearing consisted of. It was a lot of back and forth, a lot of childishness. Again, these are very, very simple requests. They are obligated as the district attorney's office to disclose these open records. Taxpayers pay for them. It doesn't even require a subpoena or a legal proceeding to see those records. If you're a taxpayer and a citizen, you have a right to know these open records and where our taxpayer money is going. And so it's just an absolute egregious miscarriage of funds, taxpayer dollars, and everything else that Fani Willis touches. It seems like it goes to absolute garbage. So it ended pretty abruptly. It appears that they're going to continue. I don't know if Dexter Bond's going to come back. There may be new witnesses. There may be some other kind of things that they need to work out or discuss, any other motions, et cetera, et cetera. But I will keep you posted. I will keep you in the loop so you know where to tune in. Your boy Nez has you covered on all of this stuff. We still got a lot of things happening in the future. We have the appellate judges overseeing the disqualification and perhaps the dismissal of this case in December with the GOAT SADA. Oral arguments are set for early December. So we got a lot of stuff to cover. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. What do you think of day 2? What do you think of this proceeding? What do you think of Cash Money G, Fani Willis? What do you think of her culture that she's cultivated and that she's created? What do you think of Dexter Bond, Ashleigh Merchant? I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know down below. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here. Subscribe and follow over there. Sign up for our free newsletter. It's free in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.